Good morning, and thank you for joining us at the Flock Amazon DSP webinar. Very busy season for us coming up. Lots of Amazon DSPs with their insurance renewing at the end of this month. So we thought it'd be a really good time to jump on, do a bit of a webinar around the Flock proposition. So we're going to tell you a bit about that, what's changed. We're going to walk you through some of the hints and tips heading into the pricing and renewal period, and some best practices. Give you a bit of a view of what's changed from our claims proposition, and then ultimately how we reward customers as well. So some good topics to cover, and hopefully give you a view of the benefits of the Flock proposition and how we can help DSPs, which is something we've been doing for a good few years in this space. So I'm not going to do it alone. I've got some colleagues joining me. So I'll hand over to Ben Allen to introduce himself first.
Thanks, Adam. My name is Ben. I'm the Senior Customer Success Manager here at Flock. I used to be a broker before and then joined Flock around 4 years ago when we launched into motor. I'll explain some of the exciting things I do with fleets today, but essentially I run the safety review sessions with our customers, and me and my team will guide all of our customers and brokers through a policy with Flock, and I look forward to talking about that today.
Great stuff. Thanks, Ben. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of the Amazon delivery partners will recognize Ben's face already. He's a very popular and well-liked guy, both in Flock and out of Flock. So I'm sure you'll be seeing lots of him. And then last but not least, hand over to Tom Rogers, who's our head of underwriting. Tom, I'll leave you to introduce yourself.
Thanks, Adam. Yeah, as Adam mentioned, I'm Tom. I head up the underwriting team at Flock. Been at Flock now for 4 years, so I've probably been working with a lot of the DSPs from the start, although my face won't be as familiar as Ben's. I've always been in motor fleets. I've worked in the Lloyd's and London market for 16 years before joining Flock. We have a busy task ahead of us. I think I've got lots of existing customers that we're looking for the fairest prices on, and we'll be sitting down, and I've already been joining a number of you on calls. And also we're looking to work with the team to get lots of new DSPs on board and hopefully meet a lot of you in the coming weeks.
Great stuff. Thanks, Tom. Yeah, busy period for Tom and his team, but one that we're really looking forward to. So let's get cracking. Ben, I'm going to start with you. So tell us about the Flock proposition for those who don't know too much about it. What are the main features of Flock, and how do we help clients?
Thanks, Adam. Well, I would say that Flock is not your traditional insurance company. Any Amazon DSP who's been with Flock already, or one who's going to come to us, will know that we are leveraging data and telematics to try and make your business as safe as possible and to get all of the benefits that we provide by doing that. We take a very digital approach into what we do. So we have an online portal that will help all of our customers manage their policies in real time, to get everything they need out of their insurance in a very transparent way. So as you can see on the screen, what you're able to do is do vehicle MTAs. So you can add and remove vehicles to your policy in real time, 24 hours a day, take away any onus from a broker, for example, and give you full control over that. You're able to see all of your progress in terms of the rebate, which is something we're going to talk about later. Track all your drivers' behavior. So it's not Big Brother is watching you. It allows you as the fleet controller to gain insights into your driver's behavior. And then as well, we also allow the ability to look at your claims in real time. So you don't need to have a listing. You can monitor and actively manage your claims as you move through the policy. And as well, we give you access to your documents page, whereby you'll be able to get access to your certificate of motor insurance, schedules, and anything like that that you need. And then finally, one of the new things that we've got is the ability to report claims digitally through the portal. Again, something we'll go through later. My role here at Flock is to provide safety review sessions to our customers, and these have massively helped our fleets and brokers over the last 2 years, where we will dive into all of the things that help you to save money and make your business profitable in the long term by leveraging all of the data we have around your business to achieve the shared goals and to make your business as profitable as possible. And finally, one of the main things we work towards is to incentivize you as a business, where we will give you actionable insights and then allow you to gain some of that rebates, earn some money back by improving your claims costs, improving your reporting, and building a safer business for everyone.
Awesome. Thanks, Ben. Yeah, really useful. I'm going to dive into that one. Tell me practically, what happens in those safety review sessions? You do a load of those. Your diary is always booked up, seeing loads of our customers and helping them. Really practically, what do those sessions look like for our customers?
Great, thanks. So for 30 minutes, whether that's once a month or every 3 months, you can decide you'll get to meet me. And what I will do is I will work with you specifically to save your business money. These sessions are designed to build relationships with customers, not just have a laugh, but to actually provide valuable insights and understanding around your business as you move through your policy with Flock. One thing you don't get from other insurers is transparency throughout the policy. So you as the fleet controller can understand the individual metrics that are counting towards your renewal at the end of the year, and to work with us proactively to get your policy in the right place before you get to renewal at the end of the year. So this is risk-aligned engagement. What we're trying to do is to help you understand the risks that your business face, mitigate those risks, and therefore see the benefits in the future. So improving policy performance metrics like loss ratios, time to report claims, and safety. What you can do is understand all of the things that constitute your renewal and then act on them throughout the year with the work that we do so that you get premium stability at the end. I do hundreds of these sessions every single month. But one customer that stuck out to me specifically was a DSP who came to Flock last year. They got a really high quota renewal and had to do a lot of work to try and bring that down over time. They're a little bit skeptical at first, if I may say so myself, but through monthly active engagement and what they did, they managed to increase their safety scores to become one of the highest, if not safest, DSPs that we hold. And their loss ratio this year was sub 30%, and they're on track for a £25,000 rebate through the engagement that they've had with us. And even a couple of months before renewal, what they said was almost, can we renew now? We wouldn't want to go anywhere else. And that's what we want to do, drive value with every interaction. And if you engage, you'll perform. And if you perform, you should stay. And by doing that, you can build up the benefits of continuity, not just with me as a friendly face, but with us as an insurance business to help you remain profitable in the long run.
Yeah, I've sat in some of those sessions, and one, customers do really like you, which is great, but you add a lot of value to what you do. I sort of describe Ben as a risk manager without the suit, and I think it's because you're very, you describe stuff in really simple, actionable language, which is what we're about. We don't try and sort of fluff around in lots of technical detail. It's how can we help you, and ultimately, get that reward that the Flock products offered. So you said you've referenced one DSP there that you've worked with in particular. If you had to say sort of 2 or 3 points, like what are the main things that separate a really good, well-performing DSP courier fleet from a not so well-performing one?
I think in terms of that, what's really important is the understanding around engagement and what engagement means. By engaging with what we do, you've got a willingness to change the way you perceive insurance, the way that you enact your processes internally. So one of the main things that I see from the best fleets is that they're willing to change processes to align with what we're trying to do to achieve those shared goals, such as moving away from a bums on seats exercise, beginning to drill down into risk management, from onboarding all the way through the year, both with new drivers and existing drivers. Those fleets who say, there's nothing I can do, drivers will be drivers. That's what we're trying to move away from. And those fleets who actually engage with what we do and implement new things are the ones who do the best. Now, obviously, there is an element of luck involved, right? And always there's going to be that unfortunate circumstances where accidents do happen, but the more you mitigate them, the better it is. So one thing I tend to see the best fleets do is get director involvement. It's their money, it's their processes, it's their business. Culture is a top-down thing. So the more you can embed safety into your business, your fleet managers, and all the way down to your drivers, and that's how you get the best results at the end of the year through better training, improvement, etc., to try and mitigate those risks. And then, of course, make sure that you do the best when it comes to claims management and making sure those claims are moving throughout the year.
That's really useful. I think we've spoken around it. It's like with the best will in the world, you can't stop claims from occurring. They're going to happen. But what we're trying to do is reduce the severity and the frequency of those. And I think if you can have those behaviours, you give yourself the best chance of doing so. Tom, over to you. So obviously we talk around the product and how good it is and what we can do. Let's move to the underwriting side, to what that actually means. So when it comes to renewal time, obviously we're heading into a lot of the fleets that we talk around in the Amazon space here being due for renewal. What are some of the best practices that fleets can follow going into this renewal period?
So I think one of the most important things for me is probably working out what you're looking to achieve this year and being open with your broker about it. We all know that price is probably one of the number one drivers, and a lot of these DSPs have got to manage some big businesses, and the price of their insurance is one of their major costs. But outside of that, I think a lot of things that get hidden under the surface quite often that impact price in the longer term are things like claim service, chasing up brokers, doing lots of adjustments. I think some of the things we we've kind of mentioned about the Flock product, it kind of puts a lot of it into the client's hands. So are these important factors? I'd probably sit down and work out what you're looking to achieve with your broker. And just as important, if not slightly more important, would be not to try and leave it too last minute. I think give yourself adequate time. Finding the right insurance partner is important, and looking for a partner we possibly have a long-term relationship with and a long-term partnership with to unlock future savings is very important. If you pick the wrong partner, it could be very, very costly in the longer term. So, giving yourself adequate time to make that decision is very important. A Flock, if we sit down with fleets early, and hopefully a lot of the DSPs that we've already seen this. I think we've renewed a number of them already. We like to sit down early in the renewal process. We'll try and make things a bit more efficient and seamless where possible. We know it's a bit of a stressful time for everyone involved, and we'd like to try and take that approach with not only on our renewals, but obviously with new customers as well. So if we can meet as many DSPs as we can, if we can get your stuff in early, if we can take some of the stress out of this period, we will do our best to do that. So let's engage early and talk to your brokers early, and let's get all that information up front, and we can see if we can help.
Yeah, I think just to echo that, I mean, one of the things so I look after the broker side of things at Flock and our distribution in that space. We work with brokers to offer joint product demos of the Flock portal. So yeah, if your broker hasn't mentioned that at the moment, or if it's something you're thinking around Flock as a potential option, reach out to your broker, they'll get in touch, and we can just literally give you a 10-15 minute run through of the Flock portal and some of the features and how we can help and any questions that you might have. So yeah, definitely make sure you do that, and we're more than happy to engage nice and early. So we've talked about safety a lot. Obviously, it's a really key part of our product, but from an underwriting standpoint, what kind of safety signals are you looking at when you're pricing an Amazon DSP risk?
I think obviously Ben's mentioned that obviously has a lot of these sessions, and I think obviously we're not personally always involved. We do attend. Ben gives us a really great write-up at every renewal, so we do get a full report. So which we do use from a moral perspective, because if we can see you're engaged and you're attended and you're really trying hard to improve your risk and reduce claims costs, that does go a long way, and we know it's a hell of an effort that has to go in to do that. But we also use telemetry data obviously for technical pricing. So telemetry allows us to accurately price based on where you're driving rather than where we assume you're driving, which is quite important. Postcodes are one of the major rating factors across motor in general, and we have the most accurate way of pricing that, which is brilliant. There are many more elements that you can pull from telemetry, but another one which is quite significant that I'll probably touch on now is obviously speeding, and particularly speeding in things like urban areas where it's built up and highly populated. It can be very dangerous. If an accident was to occur and potentially result in a serious incident, will add quite a significant cost onto your claims experience. So we can measure sort of the percentage of urban speeding you're doing in those areas, and that feeds straight into our technical model. But there's many factors. I think I've mentioned the reports, I mentioned the technical elements and the moral elements of that. But ultimately, we get a feel and bring that all together. And where we can, we try and give you the most fair and most accurate price. But we don't just, as an underwriting team, we don't just use that data and you don't understand what we're doing. We walk you through a lot of that. And so in some of these pre-renewal sessions and some of the safety sessions you have with Ben and pre-renewal sessions, we'll take you through these metrics. So we're upfront on what we're pricing you on. You can see it. You can see where it's great. You can see where it's not so good. We can start building a plan for the next year to how to improve the particular metrics, and then that tailored price will be unique to each one of you, because I think sometimes you can get bracketed into a pool of business and sometimes be unfairly penalised by potentially other fleets' performance. But at Flock, your telemetry data is your telemetry data, so I don't think it would be any fairer than pricing you based on your own fleet and how you drive. And I think that's quite important, because we're not looking to put massive rate increases on fleets that have been working hard and bringing that down. Some of these fleets that have been working with for 3 years have seen a steady stream of rebates, but also a steady stream of reductions because they've turned their fleet around. We're pricing a completely different fleet today, and we're going to continue to do that. And we'll talk a bit more about that in some of the following questions in the webinar.
Yeah, I'm going to dive straight into that, because I think a lot of people at Flock have been working very hard for a new sort of element of pricing that we're looking at the moment, which is a new business telemetry pricing. So you've talked around telematics data. We've historically done that for renewal customers where we've got that data and it's an influencing factor that we can use within our pricing model. We're now doing that for new customers with a link we've built into GeoTab. Tom, do you want to tell us a bit around kind of what we're looking at with the new business telemetry pricing, and I guess also kind of why fleets should be interested in doing that as well?
Yeah, I can. So I think a lot of what I just mentioned there was pretty much leaning towards the renewal bias slightly, but I think historically, if I'm honest, it was probably restricted primarily to renewals because we had that data for 12 months. We could ingest it over time. We could analyze it, and trying to get all that data in what is typically a very short quoting window was quite difficult. But we've been working on it for a hell of a lot of time, and a lot of effort's gone in from the teams at Flock. And I'm pleased to say that that's now not the case. We're able to do exactly the same as what we do for renewals and feed this information in at the quoting stage simply by completing a quick form. We can go straight to your TSP provider, ingest that data, load it into our technical models, pull out the mobile factors I just mentioned, and give you a more specific tailored price. Where historically our new business pricing may have been a little bit more traditional in the sense of it was lent towards claimed experience and our own exposure data that we've got across all our fleets. But now we've got a more tailored price that we can offer you at the new business stage as well. And as mentioned, it's one small, simple, quick form. I think if I can give you any reason to do it, I think we've already seen in the early stages that we've been able to unlock some decent savings for fleets, and more importantly, being able to validate where we know that risk management investment's gone in, and we've seen some improvements in the claimed experience of risk that we've not held. We're able to validate the more recent years where that improvement's come in, that the telemetry data is able to back that up and say that in the main, urban speeding is great, in the main are driving in better areas, it all looks good, and that we should be pricing more fairly based on the current years where there's been major improvement, and we've been able to unlock savings of up to 20% for some of those fleets, which is great. And more importantly, obviously, reduced risk for us generally will result in a reduced price for a DSP.
Yeah, that's really powerful. And we think we're the only people in the world doing this at the moment on motor fleets. So it is really, really powerful. One of the things that we've got as well, I'm just going to flash it up in the background. So using the tape data that we do from new business telemetry, we can also, and we're quite uniquely positioned to do this, we can look at profiles of fleets versus our wider pool. So we can kind of give an initial assessment of how you're performing versus our kind of wider pool of obviously anonymized data. So one, we can understand like where the improvements are, so that if we do obviously pick up your business, Ben's got a head start to come and work with you, and we're all on the same page from day one, but also give a bit of an underwriting perspective. Again, like what are the high risk areas from certain postcodes or speeding data. So it's a really nice feature that we've got. We can produce and walk you through this report as part of our initial checks as well. So yeah, as I said, something unique that we don't think anyone's doing at the current time. Tom, last question for you in this section at the moment. You've said about price sensitivity. I think everybody, not just in this space, but I think across lots of markets at the moment, we're always looking for the best price and things. In terms of a DSP asking you, how can I get a better quote for this year? What are the biggest levers DSPs can pull to kind of influence that long-term pricing?
Yeah, I think it's obviously, aside from price, I think effort has to go in. I think the DSPs that have seen the biggest savings with us have put in that effort on the risk management side, attended the sessions with Ben, and I think they're starting to see that. DSPs that have been with Flock for a while will hopefully be able to back that up and tell you that we're very different from most insurers, and I think the differentiators that we keep mentioning are there for all to see. But I think what that does is we want to help DSPs save money. We sit down with them every month and tell them what they can do to unlock the biggest cost savings, and we help to make those changes to monopolize the future savings for them and give them a rebate. I think it's not just an endorsement that we stick on every fleet and hope that we don't have to pay it like some insurers. It's one that we actually display on screen every time you log in, and then pull up the metrics and then throw it in your face. But Ben then goes through them and turns that into real changes that can be made. So if you want to see longer term reductions and better premiums next year, I think there's 3 or 4 key things that you can do. And I'm not going to steal Ben's thunder, but we go through it, and it's things like claims reporting and monitoring your driver behaviours and stuff like that. But I think it's finding the right partner, because you won't get that with everyone, and not everyone is willing to help you try and, well, I don't think everyone wants to throw money back at DSP, but we really do. And we measure ourselves on those metrics as well. So finding the right partner, hopefully one you can be with a long term, and making those small incremental changes that can improve your claimed experience and see future cost savings.
Cool. You've teed that up nicely. It's almost like we've planned this. You've mentioned claims. It's obviously where the cost comes. It's a very kind of stressful thing to go in with some of the claims that we see as well. Ben, from your perspective, why is it so important that DSPs jump on claims early and really kind of try and control those costs?
For a DSP, and like we mentioned before, claims may be inevitable at some point, but the faster you can get them to Flock, ideally within an hour, then the faster we can come to your assistance and help to control those costs. Now, this is mutually beneficial. If we don't get the claim quickly, then we are overspending in the process, but so are you. So when you're looking to control your loss ratio and the amount of claims you have in a year, what you want to do is get them at the right price, which would be our price. And the faster you can get it to us, the quicker we can capture the person that you've had an incident with, the third party, and get those services for things like alternative vehicles, so their courtesy cars, and the repairs of their vehicles at our cost. If we don't receive the claim quickly, then we may be at the mercy of whoever they put their whichever insurer they go to. We will be at the mercy of their costs, which generally, especially after the 48-hour period, if we don't capture that claim, those costs can go up 40%. So these are avoidable costs. And if you engage with us in the first session we have, it will be to educate you around the time to report claims. But not only does it do that, it feeds into your rebate. So the faster you report claims, then the more we'll pay you back. But also from an underwriting perspective, like Tom mentioned, when I go to give my report about you at the end of the year, what we want to see is a level of diligence. So fleets who report claims quickly show that they are more in control of their business, which, number one, allows us to give more accurate pricing, but as well, it eliminates the risk of claims coming in late that we don't know about. So if you're not reporting claims, the story tells that there's more likelihood that a claim is going to come in. That's already happened. So that's what we're trying to do, is to try and make your business not only control your costs of your claims and not have really high reserves, but also to make sure that you don't look risky as well, and that we can control your pricing at the end of the year as a result.
Yeah, super important. I think a lot of people we speak to us do understand this. I think what we can really do is actually help give you the tools to facilitate quick claims reporting. On that note, it'd be remiss of us not to talk around a really big development. Again, a lot of people have worked very hard to launch something that makes reporting claims, I'm going to say, really easy, kind of less than 3 minutes. Ben, kind of tell us a little bit around our digital claims reporting solution.
Of course. I mean, in terms of that, Flock are the powerhouse of the digital transformation of what we're trying to do when it comes to claims reporting. Like I just mentioned, what we're trying to do is capture that third party as soon as possible. And by creating a more digital approach, what we're doing is we're trying to become the best in the market at interventions, capturing those third parties as fast as possible. So how do we do that? Well, gone are the days of you having to spend an hour on hold and then speaking to a sleepy teenager to report a claim or sending 15 emails. We have created an online form, which is available 24/7 on your phone or your laptop to report a claim within 3 minutes. You can get all of the information we need over to us as fast as possible to allow for us to do that intervention and pick up that claim. So as a result, it means, we give all of the tools to get those claims in as fast as possible in a really streamlined manner. As well, throughout our calls, what we can also do is give you more content around it, not just education, but QR code stickers for your drivers, which will give them a checklist of the information they need to get at the scene to speed up that process. We give you PDF handouts about why reporting is important, so you can educate your own drivers about it, and then leverage some other things. So, for example, with our Admiral policy, you would get a £250 excess reduction for claims involving damage to your vehicle reported within 24 hours. So if drivers don't tell you, they're also costing you money as well. A new thing we're also working on is a direct to insurer from a driver claims reporting solution, whereby we can leverage an online form where your driver can report the claim to you, and then rather than going to us, you control that element of the claim if you want to, and then you can forward that on to Flock to speed up the process even more, which is something we deep dive with you into the sessions. It does involve a lot of operational change and a lot of change in terms of thinking. But once you've nailed it and you get all your claims in quickly, you will definitely see the benefits in terms of claims costs and your pricing at renewal as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's a really good solution. I think we're ultimately, again, back to that point of giving control. So from getting the claim reported, but also if DSPs are getting drivers to report that claim, as a fleet manager, you've still got oversight of what you do and don't want reporting, which is really, really interesting. I think we try to take a lot of technology, make it really, really simple. So once you kind of have made that change, we try and make that as efficient as possible for you. So yeah, really, really useful. I'm going to talk around the exciting stuff of the product to finish. So the reward element, I get taken the mick out internally a little bit. I use the phrase carrot over stick a lot when I'm talking to people around the Flock product, because we reward rather than punish a lot of behaviours. Like tell us, that's basically the rebate of the product. So Ben, just give us a quick overview of how the rebate works.
One of the main things that we're going to be focusing on is earning you back as much money with Flock as possible. Hence why we incentivize you to earn back a rebate with Flock. And it's something that we will be tracking and talking about in every session that we have. The reason we do this is so you, as the business owner, can earn back some money from your policy, which you can spend within the business or take your team on holiday, or you can give it to me, Tom and Adam, whatever you would prefer. But ultimately, the idea is to incentivize you to improve your policy performance metrics. And you do this through connecting your vehicles across the entire policy above 75%. But in our sessions, we would make sure you would always have that driver data coming into our system. But you've got to keep your loss ratio, which is the amount of premium paid divided by claims. You would keep that below 50%. So, for example, if you pay 100,000 in premium, you'd have to keep your claims below £50,000 to qualify for the rebate. We incentivize you to keep your loss ratio low. If you get below 30%, then of course you would get the most amount of rebate back. For that section, you can see in the bottom left, which would be 4% out of the 10%. And how do you do that? By improving safety, which is why we have the safety score element, and by improving your reporting. So the safer you are and the faster you report your claims, you should reduce your frequency, so how often they happen, and then the cost of those claims by letting us control them. And by doing that every single year, you can earn back rates that you're getting, because it tells a story. If you're getting a rebate, it's working for you and you're doing well. So you get with both hands. You can take from your previous year and then apply that into the following year as well. So if you are thinking about moving for maybe slightly cheaper price, well, you would factor the rebate in, because if you renew with Flock, you would actually get that back, which would mitigate any reductions you may see elsewhere as well. And by engaging fleets every month into what we're doing, we get to the end of the year and build champions in what we're doing. So many fleets have now achieved rebates, and because they have done that, they see no reason to leave Flock and want to achieve that every single year.
Yeah, that's great. And I think I really like rebate is the fact that it's that short-term incentive. We're rewarding the right behaviours with a kind of shorter-term view, that ultimately, if you do achieve that, you're helping yourself in the longer term. So you kind of win twice over with it, which is great. Tom, I'll let you kind of finish up with our last question today. Just closing thoughts, really, for our DSPs from an underwriting perspective. If there's a couple of things you just want to leave people with from that underwriting view, what would you what would you say?
Yeah, I think I've probably hinted at this in this talk, really. I've mentioned quite often that obviously picking a partner for the longer term where possible. I think there's been a lot of change in this space. Obviously, we've been quoting now for 4 years, and we continue to be quoting DSPs, and one of them remain very active. We've even launched long-term agreements, 3-year long-term agreements this year, and we're offering some of our DSPs that already. So I don't think we're planning on going anywhere. We want to partner you with longer term. We want to make savings. Ben's been hitting that home quite often in this talk. But we've got the steps. I think you can see in the portal where we keep showing it up, like getting claims reported quicker, reducing your costs will improve your claims experience. We're seeing it. It's proof's in the pudding. And that will improve your price over time. I think there's a habit for the odd rogue quote to come out potentially, and it looks really, really appealing on the surface, but quite often we've seen historically that the foundations aren't there, and that falls away, and it causes fleets all sorts of problems. So find the right partner, work out what you want. I think we mentioned that all along. Try and get as much of it as you can. Hopefully I'm definitely biased, but hopefully Flock give you all of the elements. And I think just make sure you don't lose too much, and don't lose too much sleep and be overly stressed. Try and get the right partner. Sit down with your brokers to talk to them about the product. Come and speak to us about our product. We talk about it all the time, and we'll show you a lot more detail if you like, and can talk you through any elements you have questions on. So find the right partner, hopefully for the long term, and don't get too stressed. I think is the key one, because I know it's a stressful period. So and hopefully we can help.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks. Yeah, nice closing thoughts. I hopefully it comes across, but we know this space really well. I think we enjoy working in the space as well. You know, we really like helping customers. It's a mission statement on the wall of Flock to kind of make the world quantifiably safer. But when you put that into practice, it's stuff like this where we actually give people the tools and work in really a partnership for you. So yeah, hopefully that comes across, and looking forward to getting in front of more DSPs and helping ultimately control insurance costs for the long term. So we're going to close it there. So really appreciate that. With Bob on the half an hour. So yeah, really useful. Please reach out if you haven't already to your broker. Get a session in with the team. We'd be more than happy to meet and helping you through what will be a busy insurance window for all. So we'll close it there. Tom, thanks very much. Ben,
Thanks, Adam.
as always, and we'll reconvene again in the future, I'm sure.